Parent to Parent is a national organization as well as state and local, which means we have access to find a match for parents throughout the country and beyond. We want parents to feel like they're not alone, that they could talk to someone who's a little farther along in the journey than they are. All the Parent to Parent coordinators are also parents of people with disabilities. My daughter has Down syndrome and autism, and she's 17 right now, so we're right there in that life after high school phase. Parent to Parent is for everyone. So you don't need to qualify, and it gets you out of that I feel too disabled to participate or not disabled enough. You don't need to have any criteria to qualify. If it's a disability in your family, from ADHD to spina bifida or medical need, you are welcome here. Helping parents is a big part of what Parent to Parent is, and there's a very famous poem that I like to use to illustrate what a helping parent is. So it's called Welcome to Holland, and basically the story goes, you're packing for a vacation. You're anticipating it. You've been saving for this for years, scraping every penny and putting it aside, looking forward to it. You're researching on the internet, and you have guidebooks because you're gonna go to Italy. You know which museums you wanna go to. You know which places that you wanna see. You've learned parts of the language. You even maybe went to learn the language in a class and have invested time and energy in getting excited about your vacation. So you have everything ready and you get on a plane and you get there and you finally land and get off and you're in Holland, not Italy. And the clothes that you packed aren't really appropriate for the place that you're at. And the language you learned doesn't make sense anymore in Holland. And everything in Holland's pretty great. Like, it's just different than Italy. It's a slower pace. There's tulips and you're expecting cathedrals. There's windmills and you're expecting a different kind of culture. But Holland is great, and you learn that by meeting people there, and they take your hand and they help you learn the language, and they help you familiarize yourself with this environment and this different pace of life and different way of being in the world. And you learn that it's pretty great here and you're not alone. It's okay to be sad that you didn't go to Italy, that maybe you'll never go to Italy, but you're learning how to love Holland. So what helping parents are doing is they've just been in Holland longer. They've had a person in their life with a disability longer, and they know a bit of what your future will look like, potentially. They know that it's gonna be okay, that it's gonna be different. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be beautiful. And they're going to share with you their journey and listen to you as you struggle with all of the new and all of the hard. And Parent to Parent, helping parents, are here for emotional support. They'll help you with resources, but mainly they're going to help you have someone to call when you're excited because your child drank out of a straw, because your sister and mom don't get how exciting that it is and how many times you went to therapy over the last 4 years and they drank from a straw, and you can celebrate those things together. So the program matches someone with a new diagnosis, or maybe someone like life after high school where I've had this diagnosis for a long time, but I'm so scared about what's gonna happen after high school, where we're going. I just wanna talk to somebody who has a child with Down syndrome, or a child with CP, or a child with autism, who's survived after high school. I just wanna meet one. And so those parents will call, and I'll match them up with a volunteer who is trained to be an emotional support person to them. Maybe they have a child with Down syndrome and that was the connecting point, or maybe they're also a military family, or they're also a single parent. There's lots of different factors. Maybe they wanted someone with a similar religion. There are lots of variables. It doesn't have to be disability specific to just find somebody that is in Holland in the situation to help answer some of these questions and provide support to you. One of my favorite things about Parent to Parent is the events, because they're free for everyone, who siblings included, and they are so fun to just have a way to get out into the community in an intentional way that works for your family. So one of the things we do is baseball games, hockey games, we've had swim nights. Parent to Parent also hosts events throughout the year. We get together as parents and just have a night off. We've had local artists come in and do a paint and sip classes. We also do family things together, like go to baseball games. I love our Christmas party. Going to see Santa and having pictures taken with Santa when you have a child with a disability can be so stressful. And the access points that you need to really have a good experience aren't there at the mall. But we have breakfast with Santa where families can come. They don't have to wait in line. They get to interact with Santa before they meet him. He's around, walking around, making friends. We have tables set up so they can just play and just get used to being in the same room as Santa, maybe. There's different seating options. You don't have to sit on his lap. You can take as much time as you need. All sorts of ways to just make Santa more accessible for families so they can have this experience that would maybe otherwise be super stressful waiting in line in a noisy mall for your turn to have a minute with Santa. Sib Shops is another important part of Parent to Parent. It is a fun time together with just siblings of people with disabilities. We have college-age volunteers that are cool and young to come and help them just see themselves and who they might be, who they could become through this very unique experience of being a sibling of someone with a disability. Most likely they have never met someone else with their experience, and they know that their lives are different. They go to a friend's house and recognize that their lives are different than mine, and they can feel very alone and isolated. Statistically, siblings spend more time over that person with a disability's lifetime with them than even their parent does. We want them to know that they are important, that they're seen, and we want to validate the experience of what they're going through. We want them to feel like they're not the only one. And it's so fun to watch them connect with each other and open up and realize that they're not the only ones going through this. So we have fun activities. For example, one of the things that I do with siblings is I take a jump rope and I hold one end and then a volunteer holds the other end. And then the kids are somewhere in between. And I say, I'm 0 and Stephanie is 10. On a scale of 0 to 10, do you think cereal is a soup? And then they will stand anywhere they think, definitely cereal is a soup, or no way, cereal is not a soup. And then we'll do funny questions like that, and then we'll kind of move into, from 0 to 10, it is easy to go on vacation with my sibling. And they'll kind of all rush to 0 and then tell stories about what it was like in the airport with their sibling, and oh my gosh, in the car with my sibling, or I can never watch the movie I want to watch with my sibling. And it all just comes out naturally through play. It's a great time and something I definitely recommend for those school-age siblings. At some point in this journey, I'm sure we've all had to advocate for our kiddos, and parent education, IEPs and 504s are so stressful and oftentimes can feel really confusing. Like there's a table of 9 professionals and you by yourself. And Parent to Parent never wants a parent to feel alone. And so advocacy and education is really important. We want to provide that to you. One way is through ARC at School scholarships that have been available to pay for this 8-class curriculum that is self-paced online to get through this kind of overwhelming amount of legal jargon to really be able to tell the school what you not only deserve but need for your child to access a free and appropriate education. We want to empower parents to advocate and also acknowledge that advocacy never stops, and the skills that you learn advocating in school are the same skills that you're going to learn advocating after your child leaves school and into this new system that is actually very similar to the one that you learn to get through elementary school, middle school, and high school. And I want you to know that you did it and you can do it again. They're very similar systems, and it's learning a new one after high school. One of the most frustrating experiences for caregivers of people with disabilities is knowing that there might be a resource out there to help me and not being able to find who to ask or word the question correctly. Sometimes I don't even know a resource is available until a parent or a doctor tells me years later, and we don't want that to happen. Please feel free to reach out to the advocacy team. We want to provide you with these resources. We have a resource guide that is constantly being refreshed to make sure that this information is updated and available to you. No parent or caregiver should have to feel alone. We are not alone. And when we are, it can feel so defeating and helpless. And that's the last thing we want to do. We want to be able to celebrate our lives and the lives of the people in our families, in our homes, and in our communities. We want to provide you with that self-confidence that the future isn't a looming black hole, that I have what I need to make the most of my life, for my child to reach their potential, and it's gonna be okay. And I'm not gonna be alone.